So the Good Friday Agreement turns 25 this year. Wow. I was 5 and I turned 30 this year. So all of my conscious knowing life has been after that moment in time that was so transformative for life here in Northern Ireland. I didn't grow up in Belfast. I live and work here now, but I was from a rural border community here in Northern Ireland, and I grew up with very little knowledge. I think I was really sheltered about the past in what happened here. There were little hints of it. I went to school in like a nearby city, and we're still in different schools here. There are Catholic maintained schools and controlled schools, so our lives are very separated in terms of down religious lines. So when you're from a community that is very from one side and you go to a school very from one side, you get this inherited idea of other, but you don't really quite know what that means. And I think I first really learned when I was coming into that early teenhood, hanging around in the city, and I made a friend who didn't go to my school, and she lived in a rural community on the opposite side of the city, and I couldn't understand why she couldn't come and stay in my house for a sleepover, something so normal. And it came to be that she wasn't allowed to because it was perceived danger of the other, or maybe not perceived danger, but perceived unacceptance. And that was my first knowing of there's something happening here that I don't quite understand. And when I got into it, then I learned a little bit about the history of what happened here, and I think I'm in a way blessed that I was able to grow up in that length of time without knowing that anything had ever happened here. And how strange is that? I'm so blessed. And then I learned it. So there are, I think that it was such a good moment in time for here that not all political parties and not all people bought into the idea of the Good Friday Agreement, but the vast majority did, and that was a sign that the vast majority of people here wanted peace and wanted change, and that still exists today, even though there are still little remainders of conflict and still people who aren't feeling seen, aren't feeling heard, and are creating violence and disruption on our streets. The vast majority don't want it, and those people don't speak for most people that live here. The fundamentals of the Good Friday Agreement still exist today. I think that when it was created, it wasn't created to be set in stone. So some of into the political processes need to be updated and changed, because it's very obvious that we don't have a working stormont here, and haven't for the majority of the last 10 years. So I think there are tweaks to be made, but the overall message of most people wanting peace and most people wanting change it still exists, and so much change has happened in the last 25 years, and I'm so grateful to have grown up in that generation, but there's still work to do here, and I think that's the message that I want to leave people with.